It's time to take action. What are you doing sitting around? That's what I got to tell myself every day because, look, there's too much to be done in this life to just scroll on TikTok or Instagram or like I got to change the identity of what I believe I am so that the output of what I do changes as well, right? I can't get mad at myself for not doing the things that I know I should be doing if I have this false belief of someone that I'm not, right? So and it's not that I believe that I'm this type of person that is able to watch TikTok. It's maybe that I just don't believe that I'm the type of person that doesn't have to watch TikTok. You see what I mean? So then now I have to believe that I'm not this type of person in order to stop acting in that way. Okay, so then it's an identity that I have to adopt. It's like, no, I'm the type of person that can wake up in the morning, that can go to sleep early. I'm the type of person that can stay off of my phone. I don't have to be, distracted by TikTok all the time. I don't have to listen to music. And I've seen it in that area of my life. Like for the past 4 years, I've really not listened to music that often. And if I do, it's like maybe, once in a while I'll listen to like a favorite song of mine, or I'll listen to some type of like piano or symphony music, right? So I don't know. With that, maybe I don't consciously tell myself that I'm the type of person that doesn't have to listen to music, but I've just become this type of person. And then I think the same is true with like anything in life is like, if I want to move towards this, then I'd establish that identity and bring it on, and then start moving towards it through my actions. So then, and I just like seek reward in it. I don't punish myself by not listening to music. It's like I've realized that I like thinking. I like to have a clear mind. I like not much going on up here, right? That way I'm just focused and dialed in. And so then the same is true, like all the TikTok videos that I watch, like it's just time that's gone to waste that I can't call back on that time. The memories that are good are ones that you can call back on. So I spent my time wisely last year, and it really wasn't much time, right? Like half of last year, let's say, was spent traveling and running, maybe a third of last year. So like a third of my time in the past year, so 4 months of time, was spent on a project, running a marathon in all 50 states. Well, if you think about the actual time spent running, that maybe just that amount of time is not that much, right? 4 hours a weekend, 200 hours. Okay, so that's, if you're talking like 12-hour days, 16-hour days, what is that? Like 12, 15 days, who knows, out of the year. It's not that much time, okay? But it's an incredible accomplishment and an incredible memory that I have. So I can call back on that time that I spent doing something, and it wasn't that much time, but it really has a massive impact. Like I walk into a marathon expo and people recognize me. I'm walking through the airport this past weekend after I flew back from Austin. Not even this past weekend. It was like a Tuesday afternoon, Wednesday morning. And someone recognized me. And so then now I'm, starting to get to that level of recognition. Just because I chose to spend my time last year doing something valuable. And it was a consistent thing that was valuable. And it was a conscious decision away from entertainment. And because the dream was so big of running a marathon in all 50 states in 1 year, it didn't allow me to scroll on my phone as often. I still did, right? But it wasn't because I was running on the weekends. Time where I would have been on my phone was spent running. Or if I was traveling, right? Time that would have been spent on my phone was planning out like how I'm going to get to this next location or the video that I need to take. These types of things. So I think it's a conscious decision of this is what I want to do, and then this is who I need to become in the process of doing this. And so then this is who I now am. And then I believe this, right? So I want to make content my full-time thing, right? And so I woke up this morning because yesterday I was on a British television show, so I had to wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning. So today I woke up, I have no idea why, but I was like, all right, Lord, like, let's, started reading a little bit. Not something I usually do when I wake up. So I read my Bible, and that was great. I checked my phone. I got the payment from the everything from the World Marathon Challenge, the 7 continents in 7 days, just to like cover the cost of the Airbnb, the flights, everything like that. That's been a stress the past couple of weeks. I got that, so I paid all those things off. Great. I went on my computer and did an hour and a half of work, scheduling out the half marathons for the year. Amazing. I emailed a content creator who might be able to help me with the idea for next year. Amazing. These are all things that I am slowly taking on. I emailed the Atlanta Marathon, right, to see if I could get my marathon entry covered with Nana, because they reached out to me. I wasn't able to go because I thought I was going to race Tokyo. Now that I'm not running Tokyo, I reached back out to her, right? And I'm pretty positive that that'll be paid for. So then, I'm becoming this person. So, like, yeah, I think when I drive home and after our run yesterday, Tyler and I did 5 miles over at Halcyon, and I'm sitting in my car scrolling for like 20 minutes, 30 minutes, right? That's a lot of time. Because if I do that every single day, well, guess what? Over the course of a week, it's 3.5 hours. That's a marathon every week, right? I spent that time with something productive last year. 4 months of the year went to running those marathons. 3 hours every single weekend, just running. And so then that 30 minutes of time every day, if I'm scrolling my phone, it really is not that much, but it is. It's a lot, because this is the kicker. If it's only 30 minutes, it's not that it's a short amount of time, because there's a lot of hours in the day. It's just that I can't call back on that time. And so how many things am I doing that I just can't call back on? Well, the maintenance items, if I fold my laundry and make food and all these different things, like, I can't call back on those things. It's just because, like, there's nothing spectacular or interesting about them, or different, or, productive. It's maintenance. It's not productive, right? Productivity is like doing something that will rise you above your circumstances. So going to the gym, well, how do I call back on that time? If I take a photo every single day, or if I make a video series out of it, or I just enjoy the time while I'm there, like, that time is productive, and I can look back on the year and label this time. So if I have 100%, 100 points of time over the course of a year, how effective did I use that time? Well, last year in 2024, any of the time that I spent editing videos that I posted, right? Making money that I spent on the series, running, traveling, any of the things related to the 50 States Marathon Challenge, well, that was productive time. Even just thinking about it and then implementing that action. Now, total time spent would have been all the videos that I edited that never got posted, all the times where I came up with ideas that I never followed through on, or decided to not follow through on, right? Like, there's probably some time that I spent on the series last year that never came to fruition. And I could see that mainly with the editing or the overthinking. Overthinking got me nowhere. Taking action got me everywhere. Editing videos, sitting here, editing videos every week got me nowhere if I didn't post them. But coming up with a plan right here got me everywhere, right? Because, like, when I came up with a plan of what I needed to film, I filmed it and I actually posted the video, I spent less time in total. I didn't have to figure out how to make a video out of all this footage. I had the video ready to go, and I just pressed post. And so now I'm becoming more efficient. I adopted this idea of who I am, or who I needed to become, to be able to pull off the 50 States Marathon Challenge. So I started at the beginning of the year with this idea that I'm going to run a marathon in all 50 states, knowing that the type of person that I'll have to become to be able to pull that off is someone who's disciplined, who runs all the time, who sees editing as not a bore or a dull task, but as an enjoyment. This is fulfilling work. Once I do this, I press post and it actually gets results. And so it changed that identity, and something that used to be a bore is now something that really is not that bad. I can actually do it and enjoy it. And now I'm actually taking action on that throughout the year, right? Because I knew that in order to finish the 50 States Marathon Challenge, I'd probably have to start posting the videos, or at least for it to be a productive use of my time throughout the year. And that's why I started posting pretty heavily starting July of last year, right? It wasn't perfect the whole year, but eventually I became the type of person that I needed to become, or started becoming the type of person that I wanted to become, to be able to pull off the 50 States Marathon Challenge. And then ultimately, by pursuing this idea that I had to create an identity to become, to be able to pull off that idea, I got more efficient. So I was figuring out video styles where I no longer have to spend all of that boring time editing, right? The thing that got in the way was the editing. I just have to take action. Let me just go out there and edit. Well, for so long, for 5 years now, I've been trying to become a content creator. 3 years full-time, right? Or semi-full-time. Not making any money from it because I never press post on the videos. So of course, I'm not going to progress in this category. Well, I started moving forward in this category when I actually pressed post on the videos. The thing that got in the way was the editing. When I started doing the editing, it was really boring work. I got the results. The work became fulfilling. And now I don't even have to spend as much time editing, because by doing it, I learned the styles that I could do that don't require as much editing. And so then now I'm becoming the ultimate extension, the most efficient version of this person, So stop sitting around. Stop scrolling on TikTok. Get out there and start doing something with your life. Because the time will pass. I'm 23 years old. I'm sitting right here on this couch. I made a video a year and a half ago, October of 2023, with a full beard. And I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life. So what did I do? I decided that I would become someone who, what is the idea of a successful person in their 20s? My buddy and I, Tyler, had to figure it out. Someone who is disciplined with running. They run all the time. Okay, I have no idea what else exists in this category of being a successful person in their 20s, right? But I do know that they would run a mile every day. So as long as I start doing that, I'm moving towards this idea of who I want to become. Well, I've done that for 500 days. Yesterday was day 500 of running 1 mile every single day. I was on the British television series talking about the 7 continents in 7 days World Marathon Challenge, running a marathon every day for a week. How in the world did I have the ability to hop on a Zoom call with a talk show in a different country about a trip that I've had in mind for 3 years, of running a marathon, well, of just visiting all 7 continents. I never had the idea of running the marathon. I have no idea, right? The marathons popped up. I did the 7 marathons in 7 days because I ran a marathon in all 50 states last year, because I decided back in 2023 that I needed to do something. And so then the 50 States Marathon Challenge came up, honestly, after I decided that I needed to become someone. And so then to become someone, well, I just had to do one thing consistently, run a mile every single day. My life has completely changed in the past 500 days. I'm a wildly different person. In 500 days from today, who will I be? 1,000 days. Running a mile every single day for 1,000 days. It's not because I ran a mile every day for 1,000 days. That allowed me to become disciplined. I still had to make the conscious decision every single day that I'm going to choose to do something productive for my life. Consistency allows you to be intense, right? Consistency beats intensity 10 times out of 10. But the consistent effort builds your ability to be intense, builds the ability for intensity, right? An example of that is me running a mile every single day. Yes, that allows me to be consistent, but it also builds that aerobic base. And then some days I run more than 1 mile, and I put in 5 miles, 10 miles, 13. That training is what allowed me to have the intensity, running a marathon every single weekend. And then that intensity over time is what allowed me to have a successful year, because so many people ran a mile every single day in 2024, and good for them, right? They weren't aiming to run a marathon every single weekend. I'm not saying that I'm the only person that could do that. I'm not. A lot of people could have done it. But one thing's for certain, I don't know of anyone else who did a marathon in all 50 states last year, because no one else was posting about it, right? And so then the time that I spent last year was productive because of a combination of factors. I decided that I needed to become someone. So I started doing something every day to become a little bit closer to this idea of who that person was. From that, I had the confidence to take on a couple challenges, like the 1 more mile challenge, adding a mile to my run every single day of December until I could no longer add miles. Day 17, day 16, 15, 14 were, 16 miles, 15 miles, 14 miles. I ran 98 miles that week. That gave me the confidence to take on the 50 States Marathon Challenge. And so I knew that in order to do this thing, I had to become someone who would be able to pull off that challenge. After completing the challenge, the time spent last year, I can call back on that time because it's not something that's gone to waste. It's not scrolling on TikTok. It's a tangible thing that I did with my time that was productive, inspiring, that built my body. And altogether, that time allowed me this opportunity of running a marathon every single day for a week on all 7 continents, so I could talk about it on this TV series, morning talk show in Great Britain. It started by taking action in the smallest form of running 1 mile every day. And that consistency of doing it for 500 days allowed me the ability to have that intensity, running 1 marathon every single weekend, running a marathon every day for a whole week. So, all that is to be said, my mind is now clear. I woke up this morning, I started taking action. I read my Bible, I was clear, I'm focused. But I'm at the bottom of a mountain again. The 200 countries idea could happen next year. I could run a marathon in every country starting in 2026. I know I'm going to do at least 26 of them, the world's greatest marathons. But could I run a marathon in every country? If I really did a lot of work this year, on top of a new content series, the 50 States Adventure Challenge, that took the same amount of time as the one last year. It's going to take around a third of my year, maybe, 2/5, 40% of my year. With the remaining time that I have, could I spend that time instead of having to work to pay for the 50 States Marathon Challenge? Could I become really diligent, dutiful, hardworking, and plan out the 200 countries idea while maintaining the videos for the 50 States Adventure Challenge so that I can actually commit to and pull off this idea in 2026 of running a marathon in every country starting in 2026. I have no idea how long it's going to take me. I can if I just get to work, one step at a time. So, I almost want to cry right now because, I made a video a long time ago where I said something that I wanted to do. I forget what it was. And I was like, no, I'm fighting the thought that in my mind of, at that point in time, that I say I want to do these things, but do I actually have the confidence? Do I actually believe that I can do them? And in that moment, I felt like I was lying to myself and I had to change that, and it was just not that immediate confidence. But having already done a successful series, running a marathon in all 50 states in 2024, I can look back on day 1, having this idea, and then actually completing it, and now 2 months removed, I can look back on that as a whole. Say, man, I had an idea and I followed through on it. I know what it looks like to follow through. Could I do it better this go around? As I'm looking into this new 50 States Adventure series, I actually believe I can do it, and that I will do it, and that it will be done. And the same thing with the 200 countries trip. It's a little bit crazy, but I have the confidence that I can do it, and that I will do it, and that it will be done. And so then, if I really delay the time, I learned this with the marathons, if I delay the time for 3 hours, I'll actually be done with the marathon. I won't be in all this suffering. Well, the only suffering that I'm in right now is that financially I don't have a system. And so another picture of that person I want to become is having the financial system. If I really delay that time, I'll be that successful person. If I just mentally, if I put myself in 2027, I'll be looking back on, hopefully, the marathon in every country that I ran so far. If it was 100 of them, if it's every country in the world, who knows? I'll be looking back on the 50 States Adventure Challenge. If I really delay the time, I'll be at the end of my life looking back on everything. Mentally, I can't grasp that yet, but I can grasp the next 2 years. That's a little bit far out, so I can definitely grasp the next year. I can see it. Wow. Actually doing all these things. And it makes your brain light up. It's like a feeling like right here in the center of my brain. It just like, when I try to imagine these things, this is the feeling that I got when I ran my fastest double marathon weekend time in New Hampshire and then Portland, Oregon. Basically, I went up to New Hampshire without a pair of shoes. I got the pair of shoes, which is pertinent to the story because I wear a size 15. I can't just go into a store and buy a pair of shoes. I have to order them online. Nevertheless, I ran a really fast time there. It was beautiful. I had to fly across the country from New Hampshire down to Boston, down to DC, over to Portland, Oregon, and I slept in the airport. And so having run a marathon the day before, sleeping in the airport, you wouldn't think that I'd be able to run a fast time. But I show up to Portland, Oregon, and I ran like a 3:26 or something like that for the marathon. Because for 10 miles, I was just crying. 15 miles. I was in tears because I asked the Lord to give me joy through these visions of my family and of my wife in the future. And that same part of my brain lit up. It's just beautiful, that feeling. It's like a pulsating, like, oh my gosh, you know? I just got that feeling again. That feeling is what allowed me to run a 3:26 amidst all the chaos. My fastest double marathon time. I ran 9 of them last year. And I got that feeling again just now. And so visualizing this idea that I have for the future, that I can actually do it, now all I have to go out there is do it. Now that all I have to do is just go out there and do it. So it's a good life. We will do this one step at a time. I have to finalize the plan for the marathons, the half marathons I'm going to run this year. I have to finalize the plan of the adventures that I'll take on. I have to make a schedule of this all today. Then I have to hop on a call with sponsors and really tell them why they should sponsor me. I got to get money. That way I can put that money into my ideas, a pair of shorts. That way I can eventually have my own thing. That I don't need sponsors. I can make money from my own company. And then I can actually pay people. I can sponsor other content creators, my friends. I got to get to that spot. So, let's get to it. It's a good life. Why not us?